Hello, I'm Jim Morris. I'm a founding partner of Transformer Insights. I'm here at CES 2024 with the IoT End-to-End Council in our little studio. And I am joined by Ellen Boehm, who is the SVP Strategy and Operations with Keyfactor. And we're going to talk about AI and IoT security. Now, obviously, AI has been something of a theme through 2023, starting off with ChatGPT and all the noise around that. But many more things. AI can do many more things than just large language models, and some really critical things that AI can do, particularly in the context of IoT. In fact, we ourselves, having forecast the AI market, we think there's going to be more AI implementations actually on or associated with IoT devices than there will be in all other aspects of enterprise business. So it's really critical to look at the way that AI and IoT work together and how you safely deploy AI on IoT. So perhaps Ellen, you can give me your thoughts on why you think that AI is particularly important in the context of IoT.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm going to start by saying, so the first day that I showed up here, the first booth that I saw, the first logo that was up there said AI for all. And I said, all right, so good thing we chose to talk about this topic because it is a big theme. And I do agree, it's something that is not just a buzzword anymore. It is companies of all types are trying to figure out how to leverage this new technology, whether it's content creation or marketing, or more from a product development standpoint, which is where I'm from, is how do you maybe leverage AI to be able to create more different increments of code or new products, MVPs, betas, that sort of thing. So I think it's important for us to understand how people are testing it out.
Yes.
Because it is something that's not going to go away, and I think is going to make us more efficient and make things better in the end. So, but that doesn't come without risks, and that's part of what I kind of want to get into in a little bit here, because I come from a company called Keyfactor. We are a cybersecurity software company, so really we're watching the different industries, whether it's medical devices or critical infrastructure or smart home, and sort of how these IoT devices are being developed, and how we're using some of these new tools. So I kind of get to see a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it might worth a thing. Picking up on that point you made about risks. So I mean, what are the risks that we are going to have to manage when it comes to AI in the context of IoT? I mean, I guess there are some aspects of the risk, for instance, transparency and not knowing exactly how outputs were generated, but I'm sure there's many more.
Yes, right. So to me, it really starts with you have to be able to understand the origin of something, an artifact, and the authenticity of it. And so how do you prove where it came from? And so that is something that we talk a lot about, because if you want to then be able to take whatever is generated from that, that image or those collection of things, right? Because these algorithms, especially in Gen AI, are taking these patterns and they're coming up with something that a human would not be able to detect, but it's easier for us to come up with these in a much faster way. So we have to be able, if we're going to take that benefit, we have to be able to trust what it came from. And so when we think about it from a security standpoint, it's all around what is the origin of that and how can you trust that thing, which in our case, it's really all revolving around a digital identity and being able to uniquely identify something, in our case with a certificate or by signing it, so that you can sort of like a DocuSign, right? Or some sort of mark that says, okay, I really am validating that this thing is true, so that then as a user, as a consumer, as a company, you can feel good in being able to trust what's coming out of that algorithm. So it's really about that, the origin and authenticity. And then the second piece, in terms of risk management, is understanding how things have been changed and modified over time. And that's kind of a basic thought, but it's really how do you then know who has modified an image or an artifact or a piece of code, and then how, and then when, and then where, and then being able to track all of that stuff, but being able to do it in a very quick manner. So this is where getting into, we can't rely only on manual processes or humans or some of the tools that are static today. That's why we have to be able to have some more digital methods to do this.
Yes. So it's about unlocking the enhanced cycle times that AI can enable, so it can just do things more quickly, but ensuring that the right information goes into an AI and the right information comes out, and you can track things back to source. And potentially you could have a cascade of different AI type analyses, and you tag you document the output of one and the input to the other. So there's potentially quite a complex environment there.
Right. Yes. But that's exactly how I see it. Right. So it's you have to be able to start with something that you know and you trust, and then in every iteration be able to tag it back to some origin or some person that you trust or some entity that you trust, and validate that. Because if you don't, then you could be building off of something or incorporating something that could include malware or something that is has some sort of code written inside of it that you didn't intend to go into your product or to be built into your enterprise. And that's another thing we have to think about. It's once you connect devices in the whole IoT world, you're opening up this can of worms of different ways that things can enter into your system. And especially when you're designing and selling a product and a solution, customers that buy it expect that it's going to be reliable, that it's going to be safe, and then now even more so that it's going to be secure. And we have even these within the US, we have these acts coming up where we're talking about having a cybersecurity label on a product, so consumers know, kind of like an Energy Star. This is a energy efficient thing. This is also a safe and secure thing. So this isn't something that we're making up, right? It's been we're trying to figure out how to do this in a secure way. So.
Absolutely, and thinking forwards to the future. I mean, clearly there's going to be an awful lot of AI deployed in the context of IoT. It naturally sits on many IoT endpoints or at aggregation points, or potentially in the cloud, analyzing device from IoT data from devices. There's going to be a lot of these two things happening together, and you've described a fairly complex environment of tracking and auditing and knowing exactly where everything's come from. So that's what the future looks like. How far are we going to get? Where are we going to get to in the next 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, so I definitely see in certain industries, from a security standpoint, interoperability becoming talked about, right? So, and we mentioned this last year when we were speaking here about the Matter protocol, and having different manufacturers of smart home devices understand and come together and say, we need to have a common way for my device to trust your device, even though they're made by different companies. And so I think that's what we're going to see, is more and more adoption of that sort of interoperability and shared trust between things that need to connect within the systems. Just like you say, different endpoints, different gateways, different applications, and that's really what we need to continue to do to drive adoption within IoT, and to do it from a really secure way.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating future. There's going to be a lot of AI around, but I think you're right to point out that we need to be secure and locked down in the way that we leverage it, to make that benefit real effectively. So, Ellen Boehm, it's been really interesting to chat with you, and thank you for your views. And thanks for joining me here.
All right, thanks. Enjoy the rest of the show.